Yeah, it's me again. And yeah, it looks like I got a little bit more wrinkly since the last time you all saw me, which is about 3 weeks ago. So, what are we going to do? Oh, yeah, the craziest stuff I saw in the National Guard, Part 6. Well, it's kind of not stateside, it's actually overseas in the sandbox. But my unit is a National Guard unit. So, how to start this? We was in 2008. Let's see, it was February, March 2008. We was doing a convoy mission. National Guard. Hey, we're not Marines, we're National Guard. So we do convoy security. You guys know from the previous videos I did what convoy security is all about. We basically escort white trucks or flatbeds or supplies. Okay, I mean, it's an honorable job, right? Honorable job. It's not, it's not glamorous or glorious, such as the Marines kicking in doors and shooting the insurgents and Taliban and Hamas and all that other BS, right? So, but convoy security has its dangers. IEDs, ambushes, small arms fire, large arms fire, RPGs, sniper fire, V-beds, so, in my unit, seen its share of incidences out on the road from Kabari crossing from Kuwait going into Iraq, and then Camp Cedar, Talil, Buka, Baghdad, Mosul, TQ, Fallujah. So we've been everywhere. And the good news is we've only had one killed and maybe 13 or 14 wounded. A number of incidences. So we all got to return fire. Some of us got CIBs. Some of us got combat action badges. Well, not everybody. I didn't get one, and I came under fire two or three times. But because I'm such an asshole, they're like, they looked at my paper and says, you got attacked February 19th. They dropped mortars on Camp Cedar. Well, the guy's a dick, so they would just take it, paperwork, and just toss it to the side. But anyway, that's not part of the story. Anyway, the story goes is we were doing a convoy mission, and we were delivering. We had five or six whites because we just dropped some off in Baghdad, and we were going to the left. If you actually look at the map, so you got Baghdad, and then you got this. And the MSRs, you got other different roadways, and we were going to Fallujah where we're going to drop those off. And there was some couple of other trucks that we're going to take up to TQ further down the road, down one of the MSRs. So we go rolling into Fallujah, and this is not during the Battle of Fallujah or the second battle. But stuff was still popping in Fallujah. You still get people messing with you, IEDs and shit like that. And this time around, I rode as a guy in the back. And what I would do, because it's such a long mission from Kuwait all the way in, we'd be on the road for 8 or 9 hours if there was no incidents. So the gunner, he was like, hey, man, Sarge, can I take a break? Sure, man. I would get up in the turret and the young specialist would get in the back and try to catch some Z's while we're, going down the road, going, brr, 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 brr. So I was up there with the gun. It was a 249, a saw, because they took our 50 cals away after about 3 months after I got there. Thanks to me going boom, 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 firing some rounds. And they said, well, we might have to take those 50s away because, they're going through buildings. Anyway, so the craziest thing happened is we roll in, and there was a lot of side streets. There was, and I've only been in there once, and then the return trip. So I've only been to Fallujah twice. So, like I said, no Marine Corps stuff, no Navy Crosses, no Purple Hearts, none of that stuff. But the craziest thing that happened while we was rolling through there was the Iraqi police was around, and they had some of the old unarmored Humvees, the 955s and those rag tops. So basically what they did is repainted them different color, like black, and there was a couple of gray ones and said Iraqi police, IP. So we saw those guys driving around a lot. And some of those guys would drive up alongside us and then move on as we're moving. And we're moving slow, And they say, well, you don't move slow in country. Well, actually, when you're in the city, you move slow. You don't want to run people over. And there's activity everywhere. There's a lot of activity. You got merchants. You got the little hoochies selling bootleg DVDs. You had, little pottery shops. You had all sorts of stuff there. They had like food and, well, what are they cooking? It smells kind of okay. Dude, don't fucking buy that shit. Might be dog. Okay. So after we drop these whites off, and we're going to leave Fallujah. See, there's like an entryway and there's a back way. So what we did is we escorted the trucks to the side going in, and then parking it in the marshalling yard where all the vehicles are at. And what we're going to do is we drove back out to another part of the marshalling yard where the other whites that are already ready to go. And so we had one part where you dropped off the vehicles where they're going to unload the trailers, but you have another spot that required you to drive around and hook up with and get those guys and go out one of the side gates and then go on the MSR. But you had to drive through parts of the city to get there. Instead of just going across, instead of just putting a thing to go across, we can just go straight there. No, you had to get out, you had to drive around, go to a part of the city, and then go into the other yard. So I'm sitting up there with the 249. I am watching. You may never know what goes on. Somebody can take a shot at you. You may never know, right? So I'm vigilant. Body armor, Kevlar, the neck thing, the whole thing. So I'm sitting there doing this. I'm looking around and moving the turret. We're like, all right, we're moving slowly. Iraqi police are coming by. They're going past us. You see people everywhere. And the damnedest thing I saw is this guy. All right, I'm going to show you a picture of what one of these things look like, right? This is an older guy. It was not a young guy that's going to be on this picture. Check this out, okay? Let's see if I can do this. Okay? You got this guy was rolling along with one of these donkey carts, two-wheel donkey carts, and he was sitting on it. And this guy that we would slowly drive him had all this junk. I mean, it was stacked with junk, just stacked up. And he was sitting like right where he's at, but the cart was a little wider, okay? But it was just all this junk just stacked up. I mean, just stacked the hell up, right? So we go driving by, and I'm looking down on this guy, and it's like, oh, dude, you know, look at the donkey cart, you know, and this guy's just doing this old, and he was an older guy. He was like, and the donkey was just moving slow, and he was laboring, pulling the load because, you know, it's donkey. So I'm looking back, and I'm like, well, we pass it up, right? Like, okay. And we kept on moving. About half a block, as I'm sitting there, you know, and I'm doing this with the turret, and then going behind us, because we were the third, I was in the third Humvee, the third gun truck. We had the fourth one, but it was behind us. And he, just as we started making the turn, he was kind of wide, where you can actually look down the left side of the Humvee to the street, and around the corner, we saw a boom. Like a fireball. Just, you know, you hear a, it's like this. It's like, and then boom, you know, the famous sound that carries first before, you know. And I was like this, going, whoa. So immediately I went, oh, you see this. And I'm like, what the hell was that? And then one of the guys in the back of the vehicle, the other turret, he's going, oh, dude. And he said he saw the actual axle of the donkey cart actually spinning. Because remember, I told you I was on the right-hand side, and I saw the explosion, but part of the fireball was obscured by the gun truck that was behind me. And he said he saw the axle flipping like this. I said, did, and he says on the radio, the donkey cart blew up. I'm like, what the, you know, we're like, whoa, we're on high alert. So we just, you know, we already locked and load, but man, I was going to throw that sucker off a safe to full auto, and I'm going to start rocking if something was going on. But we stopped. We stopped for a moment, and you just see the smoke just do this. I was like, oh my God, dude. And you can smell, you know, the powder and all that stuff. It's like, oh my God, dude, what the hell was that? That was crazy. And we didn't drive back, that's for sure. We continued to the marshalling yard, and we were all on high alert. Everybody was ready to rock and roll. There was Humvees. The Iraqi police drove. One of them drove past us, and we're like, he says, well, you know, and the convoy commander, he was a E6. He says, dude, if it doesn't involve us, let's just keep going. And we went to the marshalling yard to go and pick up these other whites, which was about 3 blocks away, and found out we asked about it when we came back through Fallujah about 6 days later. We stayed in TQ because we got sandstormed in. And we talked to this Iraqi cop. I mean, he speaks pretty good English, and he had an interpreter. And we asked, what happened to that big explosion? He says, oh, the donkey cart. Okay, let's see if I can get it. The donkey cart was a V-bed. The guy apparently was carrying 3 or 4 artillery shells rigged to blow. Now, and he blew up 2 Iraqi police cars, or Humvees. Now, I was kind of wondering if he had the opportunity to blow up a U.S. convoy. We had 4 fucking Humvees. He could have easily taken out either the first 2 in the front, us, the guy in the back, or both of us, as the blast was strong enough. But he didn't. I was complete, saved our lives, I guess. I don't know. But it was the damnedest thing, man. I was like, wow, dude. It was crazy. I don't know, but that was the damnedest thing I seen. I'll tell you what. So, and of course, Nachi reported it, but nobody said anything, and a donkey cart V-bed. Anyway, that is going to be your story about the craziest things I've seen in the National Guard. At least in the National Guard in the sandbox for this episode. So, yeah. And the only thing I can say is when we drove back through there, and because we had to drop off vehicles, I wanted to drive by that spot where it blew up, but we bypassed and went through one of the other gates. Anyway, this is Jeff, and that is your story. National is some of the craziest shit I've ever seen in the National Guard. Part 7, and I should put in parentheses the sandbox or the donkey cart V-bed. This is Jeff going, that was a close call, huh?